to this. We're on number 8. We're going to write the two equations in point-slope form for the given graph. So remember, point-slope form is y minus a y coordinate equals the slope times x minus the x coordinate. So I need to know, to be able to write two equations, 2 points, and I need to know the slope. So we've got the 2 points, that part's easy. Then I've got to find my slope. Get from here to here, it went up 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So rise over run. 2 over 6 is the same as 1/3. Let's see if that works. Up 1 over 1, 2. I must have done something wrong. I did. This is up 3. Sorry. My bad. Might help if your math teacher can count, huh? So we went up 3 over 6, which is 1/2. Always get a check. Up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. So what would be an equation that I could write? Y minus the y coordinate. What's y minus a -2? Add 2 equals my slope times x minus that x coordinate. What am I going to write? X minus -4? X plus 4. All right, and quickly, somebody tell me my second equation. Y. Andrew, what am I going to write?
-1.
Yes. Equals. Keep going.
X minus 2.
Perfect. Because it says to write two equations. I mean, we could write a bunch, right? Couldn't we write down the coordinates of this point and write another one? Write down the coordinates of this point and make another one? That one would be the easy one. Y plus 0 equals 1/2 times x plus 0. So that would simplify to y equals 1/2 x. All right, this next one is basically either you know it or you don't. Memorization at this point. If an equation is consistent and dependent, or two equations are consistent and dependent, that means that there are infinitely many solutions, right? Because it depends on which point we're looking at, which solution we have, right? Consistent and independent means there is exactly one solution. Think about independent people. They do things on their own, by themselves. Only one person doing it. Independent, one. Inconsistent means no solution. So, cross out B. We did not use it. All right, number 10. If 3x minus 2y equals 5 and y equals x minus 9, what are the values of x and y? Now, we have 3 different ways that we could solve this system of equations. We could, what could we do? Graph it, right? Put them both in slope-intercept form and graph it. Who wants to do that? Not me. We could solve it using elimination, but it doesn't really look like anything's going to eliminate. So it looks to me like the obvious solution is to use substitution. Since I have y all by itself, I can take this value that y is equivalent to and replace it with the y in that equation. That way it's all in terms of x. So I'm going to do that over here. 3x minus 2, we'll leave a space, equals 5. So I copied everything down the same. The only thing I didn't write was the y because I'm going to replace y with x minus 9. I substituted this x minus 9 in place of y. Now what? Distribute. Combine like terms. Subtract 18 from both sides. Negative 13, yes, is my x value. Now how am I going to find y? Plug it in, plug it in. Y equals negative 13 minus 9. Am I too hyper for a Monday? That would be what, negative 22? Same sign, add and keep the sign. Very good. I taught you something. All right, what am I going to do on this next one? What seems to be the most obvious thing to use? Elimination, exactly. That's what I would use. Now, again, you could use whatever you want. If you want to try and get a y or an x by itself and substitute it, you can do that. If you want to put them in slope-intercept form and graph it, you can do that. But what I would do is multiply this top one by 4 because that's going to give me a positive 16. 4 times 9 is a positive 36. And 4 times 9 again is a positive 36. So the x's eliminate. 36 plus 15 is 40, 51. 36 minus 19. Let's see here. 19, 20, 16, 17. Feel like it is, but
We have a whole basket of calculators right next to you.
yeah, that's right. Okay. So what am I going to do to get y by itself? And 17 divided by 51 is 1/3. Well, looks like it should be right since it says write the ordered pair in fraction form. So we can always go back at the end and check it. All right, so now I can that makes a lot of sense. I can choose which equation to plug my y equals 1/3 in for. I'm going to do the top one because either one is going to be nice. I'm just going to use the top one because I crossed out the other one. 4x plus 9 times 1/3 equals 9. 1/3 of 9 is 3. So 4x plus 3 minus 3 equals 9 minus 3, which is 6. Divide by 4. X equals 3 halves. So my solution is, now be careful, even though we solved for this 1/3 first, we still have to list it in the ordered pair, 3 halves, 1/3, x comma y. Be sad to do that entire problem, all that work, and then write the ordered pair backwards and miss it. All right, number 12, it says, Julianne makes and sells watches. He estimates that his income can be modeled by y equals 9x minus 178, where x is the number of wallets he sells. He estimates that his cost to make the wallets can be modeled by the equation y equals 3x plus 74. How many wallets does he need to make in order to break even? How would I begin this problem?
Well, you're trying to find x.
Okay.
So with substitution, plug it in for the first one.
Okay. So 9x minus 178 is equal to 3x plus 74. Is that what you're saying? All right. Then I can add 178 to both sides, subtract 3x from both sides. So I end up with 6x equals 252. The goal is to get x all by its lonesome. So divide both sides by 6, and x equals, 6 goes into 24 4 times. So I have 1 left over. 6 goes into 12 twice. 42. So 42 wallets. That is correct, according to my work that I did earlier. How are we feeling? You feeling prepared for tomorrow's test? No? The same things that were in the videos, just all pile into one big review. All right, number 13. Which graph represents this system of inequalities? If you look down through those answer choices, there's 2 that we can rule out right off the bat.
The last two.
Why is that?
Or
You're right, but just explain to me why.
We can roll out the last two
Yes.
because it's the smaller sign, so there's less to the line.
Perfect. X is less than -2, not equal to, it's less than. Well, we know that that is a vertical line, right, through -2. And it has to be a dashed vertical line because it's not equal to. So it has to be A or B, and it can't be C or D because they use solid lines. So now we got a 50-50 chance without even really having to think a whole big bunch of getting this problem right. So now let's look at this. They shaded X is less than -2. Well, that's this side of the line, so that's both of them. So we can't go off of that. So it looks like we're going to have to put this in slope-intercept form and look at which side we should shade. So -3y is greater than or equal to -2x plus 6. What happens when I divide everything by -3?
Fine, split.
The sign flips. Got 2/3 x minus 2. So we should shade everything below this line, right? Because it's the y values less than it. So which one is the correct answer choice? B, as in boy. All right, number 14, we're just matching. Matching. What I would do if it were me, I would just go through and write the equations of the line. So this has a y-intercept of -2, and it looks like the slope's going down 1/1. So y, and they shaded above it, y is greater than -x plus 2 or minus 2. I think it's easier to do that than to try to match personally. Now we've got to move the x to the other side so that it matches these answers. So x plus y is greater than -2. That's this line. Now let's look at this one. This one is a +2 and they shaded below it. So we know that it's going to be x plus y is less than 2. Yes, the second one. Okay, now they shaded below both of these. So instead of it being greater than -2, it should have been less than -2 and less than a +2, which is the bottom equation. And on this one, obviously they shaded above both, so it's greater than both. Does that make sense? Once you know one, it's really easy to figure out the other one. All right, solve using substitution, elimination, or graphing. Seems like elimination will be the obvious choice. So I'm just going to change the sign of everything in this top equation. Essentially, all I did was multiply everything by -1. Well, you do know that 8 goes into 30 3 times. That's 24, right? 8 times 2 is 24. So there's 6 left over. What's 6/8 the same as? 3/4. Perfect. So -3 and 3/4, or we can write it as a decimal. -3.75. Now we've got to find our x.
Plug it into the original first one.
Okay, so 2 times x minus 2, minus 2 times -3.75 equals a +18. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 75 is $1.50. Always think of it in terms of money, makes it a lot easier. So 6 and $1.50 make $7.50, right? So 2x plus $7.50 equals 18. Minus $7.50 from both sides. That gives me, that would be 11, so it's $10.50. If I cut $10.50 in half, that'd be $5.25, right? So x equals $5.25. So my solution is 5 1/4 or 5.25, and -3 3/4 or -3.75. I don't care which way you write it. If it was 1/3, then you'd have to write it as a fraction because we write points for your keeping. All right, now I have a Quizlet that is on Google Classroom that I made. Very kind.
We should do Quizlet live.
Instead of making you guys make them, I make them for you because I'm awesome like that.
But then all our answers will be the same.
Study them. Study the Quizlet because I'm telling you right now, on your test tomorrow, there are 10 vocabulary words. And it makes it a whole lot easier to to answer the other questions if you know the vocabulary words. Obviously, if I ask you to, I don't know, do something and you don't know the vocabulary of what it's even asking you to do, then you can't do that. All right, you guys want to do this?
Yeah.